Hey everyone, I'm Jen Beck. I'm a registered nutrition consultant and the founder of Complete Health Revolution. I'm about to be on the online prosperity show with Prosper, and I am so excited to share with you. We're going to talk about how to personalize your journey, how to simplify making health changes and transforming your health. And I'm going to give you the key to end emotional eating and allow you to transform in this episode.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we've got a guest whose journey from personal health struggles has made her to become an international wellness coach, and it is nothing short of inspiring. Now, Jen, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Prosper. It's good to see you.
Ah, fantastic. Well, the pleasure is all mine. But Jen, before we jump into the interesting beats of the show, is there a little bit of something that you just wanted to tell us pertaining to the content we're about to, tell the people moving forward?
Yeah, so the views expressed in this are a reflection of my own experience. And the biggest piece I just really want people to know is that everyone's journey is different. So it is not about a right, wrong way to do it. What I'm going to share today is really from my heart. It's from my experience. It's from my education. And so I'm here as a guide for people, and know that you should never replace a podcast or anyone else's advice as medical information or medical advice. Work with your healthcare practitioners and allow them to be able to guide you. Talk to them before you make any big life changes or dietary changes, so that you're doing what's best for your body and your specific situation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jen, for doing that for us. And I believe all the ones that were trigger happy have actually left the podcast. Now we are left with the people that really want to learn and have and be and do more with their health and things of that nature. So, for those that are listening, thank you so much for tuning in to the Online Prosperity Show. I want you to imagine transforming from a diet of sugar and caffeine to now guiding countless individuals towards sustainable wellness. And that's the story you're about to hear today from Jack from Jen Beck, who is the founder of Complete Health Revolution. Now, Jen is not just a coach. From what she has already told you, she's a myth buster in the world of health, and she is here to debunk the quick fix diets that are leading people to start eating things that are not helping them on the journeys that they really want to be on, to helping them have lasting vitality. Now, wouldn't that be nice? And if you listen to her on this call today, you would notice that her mission is to help leaders and teams reduce stress, unlock energy, and achieve sustainable wellness. Now, once that's in place, you can be, do, and have a happier existence, or you can be, do, and have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And as you will notice, and from her disclaimer, you will notice that Jane's wake up call came from observing her mom's health decline due to MS, which now ignited her passion to true health. So, as you are going to experience, Jen's journey is personal to her, and she's made it her mission to help others be on the same road as well. So today's episode, we're gonna dive into this transformative journey, her innovative methods, and also how you, our valued listener, can embark on your own path to wellness. So stay tuned as we uncover the secrets to a healthier, more energetic life. Now, Jen, thank you so much for being on the show today. So, if I would maybe invite you to have a coffee with me and I would order maybe a grande iced sugar free vanilla, maybe a caramel macchiato with 2 pumps of hazelnuts, or maybe 1 pump mocha, soy milk, extra foam, light ice, whipped cream, maybe a double shot of coffee there, which is served in a venti that comes extra hot upside down with a sprinkle of cinnamon on the top. I wouldn't be able to impress you, no?
Probably not. Like it would be one of the most extensive coffee orders I've ever heard, but there's not a whole lot that really surprises me. Given the way our society is sugar addicted and how we really like to indulge and satisfy all of our taste buds in one meal or one experience. And so, no, there's not a whole lot that you could do to surprise me, especially after working with people for 20 plus years, almost 24 years now, helping them to transform their health and really reclaim their health. There's not a whole lot I haven't heard yet.
Mm, fantastic. But obviously, your journey didn't start off like this. Maybe take us to the moment where it actually led you from a sugar and caffeine laden lifestyle to actually start embracing health and wellness.
Yeah, I will never forget that moment, Prosper. I was sitting in my car. At the time, I was working in a sales role for Miller Brewing Company, of all places. And I just finished lunch. It was a junior bacon cheeseburger, a small fry, and a small frosty. Typical lunch for me. And I mean, it had to be a small because the girl's got to watch her weight and everything. God. Um, but my phone rang and I looked at it sitting on the seat next to me, and it was my brother calling at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, which was totally random. And I answered it and I was like, hello? And he's like, hey, Jen, it's time. I was like, time for what? He goes, it's time to put mom in a nursing home. And I said, why would a 49-year-old need to go into a nursing home? And he goes, because she's a 49-year-old that has fallen out of her wheelchair 6 times in the last 6 weeks. And this time she got trapped underneath it in the bathroom in the fire department and had to break in and bust her out. And she can't go back in the hospital and she's not safe where she's at right now. And I just remember being floored in that moment of just like how quickly things had changed. And then standing in her living room just a couple of days later, helping her sort through her possessions and watching her cling to every single thing she owned. Like if you've ever downsized somebody before or even moved, right? You've got a box for storage, a box for the move, a box for goodwill, and a box for garbage. And everything we picked up, it was like, well, what about this, Mom? No, I can't give that up. Your little brother made that ashtray in third grade. Okay, well, what about this? Like this t-shirt has holes in it. Oh, I wore that to Crosley, Stills, and Nash in 19 blah blah blah. Like, I mean, but it was everything. It was her life. It was all of her memories, all of her possessions, everything that she valued that she had to decide whether she was going to take it with her, release it to the garbage or to Goodwill and let it go. And in that moment, I made a vow that I would do whatever I could to help my mom and also help myself because my mom had multiple sclerosis, but so did her sister, and so did their mom. And as much as they said it wasn't genetic, I was like, well, that's a whole bag that I don't want to have anything to do with. So I'm going to protect myself and do whatever I can to help my mom. And so I started just looking for ways to be able to help her. And I ended up at a conference where there was this pharmacist that was teaching about the healing benefits of superfoods. And late 90s, early 2000s, it was weird that that they were talking about nutrition. I mean, multivitamins were still weird at this time. And here's this pharmacist talking about healing foods. Well, during his talk, he also mentioned his wife who had had multiple sclerosis for 26 years. Same amount of time as my mom. And at the reception that evening, I see the two of them literally waltzing across the ballroom. And I was floored. My mom had been walking with a cane since I was probably 7 or 8. And this woman is virtually untouched. And I got a chance to meet her afterwards, Prosper. And I asked her, I said, what drugs are you on? Because your results are so much better than my mom's. She needs to be on whatever you're on. And she just kind of looked a little confused for a minute. And she goes, well, I'm not on any medications. My husband didn't believe in them. I'm sorry, your husband, the pharmacist. Like he could literally schlep them out of his trunk and give them to you if he wanted to. And he doesn't believe in them. She's like, no, the population studies were too short and too small. And the side effects basically outweighed the benefits. I said, what did you do? And she goes, I just built my body up with diet, supplements, and exercise. And it got me thinking about my mom's lifestyle. And we grew up in the Midwest where, I mean, hamburger helper, tuna noodle casserole. We had a lot of quick convenience meals, which I think a lot of people still do today. I mean, a good balanced meal with like Salisbury steak out of the freezer, a can of green beans, a can of cream corn, instant potatoes, maybe, some white bread on the table and milk. Which, now I understand is not nutritious, but my mom was doing the best that she could, raising three kids, running the books for my dad's business. And she took supplements for like 6 months when I was in sixth grade, said, they're too expensive. They don't work. I'm not doing that. And I don't remember her ever exercising. So the three things that Dr. Suster's wife had done were three things my mom wasn't doing. And I got really curious, like, what if my mom had done what she had done? Would her results have been different? So I just started researching, and the more research I did, the more I saw people reversing MS and heart disease and cancer and diabetes and fibromyalgia and Alzheimer's and all of these things that I thought were life sentences once you receive the diagnosis. These people were reversing by changing their diet and lifestyle and using supplements. That's actually why I went back to school for nutrition. And so it's, gosh, 23 going on 24 years now that I've been really helping people transform their health and transform their lives. And just to go full circle with my mom, she passed about 10 years ago. And the doctors told us when she passed that because of the changes we had made, we'd got her out of the nursing home into a group home. And the doctor said that we extended her life by at least 5, if not 10 years, and tremendously improved the quality of her life while she was still alive. And I just remember when I went through school, it was like if I can help one family prevent putting a parent in a nursing home prematurely, like that would be enough. I would be content with that. And I've been able to do that for thousands of people now. So I really feel like my work is carrying on my mom's legacy, and it's in her honor that I get to work with people and really help them transform their health.
Wow. Thank you so much for taking us through that, experience that you went through. And from what I'm gathering there, information changes situations, because had you not been exposed to this couple that seemingly was going through what you were going through, and
Yeah.
they were having completely different results to the ones that you were experiencing with mom, none of this would have obviously happened. Now maybe walk us through, because you did say mom started being on a walking stick, or just the severity of the MS started when you were 8. What was it like being a young woman growing up around that sort of environment without knowing what you know now?
Um, you mean if I had that knowledge now, or what it was like
No,
just
no.
in
What was it?
general?
Yeah, what was it like with mom like that? What was she?
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, going back to those years, it was hard. I mean, all of my friends had mom that was healthy, and they'd go out shopping for the whole day, and my mom would cap out at about a half an hour, maybe an hour before she'd get too tired. And, so she did the best that she could, but it was, um, what I now know to be true is that there was a lot of grief. There was a lot of loss at that age, not being able to have a mom that was really active and engaged. With her MS, there was a lot of chronic depression that came with it too. So it was, I guess one of the things that I learned from my mom and her journey is that you really get to choose. You really get to choose how you look at life and how you engage with it. And at that age, I learned a lot of how to complain about things. I learned a lot that there wasn't necessarily a ton of choice. And I didn't get the inspiration of like things can be different. It was kind of this is your lot in life and this is the way it is. And as a little kid, I mean, it was sad. We missed out on a lot of wonderful things that all of my friends got to do with their mom and, activities and things like that.
I can only imagine. And obviously, your quest now is that kid who wants her mom to have been maybe at a recital or at the playground, just like any other kid would have had their mom around. And obviously, you didn't get to experience that. And that's now obviously the reason and tendre for you to
Yeah.
go around it. Now, let's just move it a little bit. You told me you do have an 8-year-old as well, and this is run about the same sort of experience that you would have going through with her. What is different with the mom you are now to the daughter you have?
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference. So I had my daughter at almost 42. So I was 40, 1 month shy of 42 years old when I had her. And I wasn't going to have kids because I didn't ever want them to potentially end up in the same situation that I was. I didn't want like if the MS, was my lot in life, if you will, I didn't want any of that. I didn't want to have a kid in that situation. Um, and as a result, though, of the journey that I went through with because of my mom's health, and then just my own healing journey, mentally and physically, I'm in a totally different place now. I mean, I get to be a really present mom. I get to be a role model for her, and I am healthy. I mean, I took a little bit of time off from the gym when I was during COVID. I think many of us did, and I kind of got the Zoom body, right? Where it was like, oh, I'm just like I'm sitting all the time. And I decided I was going to get back in the gym. And for me, it was a really big motivator last year. I just turned 50. And so 49 years old, it was like the reality set in about like this is the year that my mom went in the nursing home. And at this age, I remember being a kid and thinking that 49 or 50 is like old, like that's like ancient. And now I'm like, hell no, I have a lot left to do and a lot of life left to live. And, so now I can climb trees with my daughter. And, we went out and had a snowball fight and, went out sledding and like doing all the things that kids should have their parents present for emotionally and physically. And I feel so blessed that I get to do that with her and that I have my health and I just get to be the kind of mom that she deserves.
Absolutely. The reason why I really brought that up is so that we can really look at why you, why now, and why people should really pay attention to this because so many people would just be like, ah, if there's no MS within my household, then I don't have to care. So that could be anything. These days,
Yeah.
it could be a heart disease, it could be just about anything. And if you cannot be there for maybe yourself, because then, you might not feel like that's it, but it's for the people that are around us that actually mean the most. You've worked with a lot of people in this time. Mom was obviously, patient zero or, person zero. And then from then on, you sprouted and you started working with countless other individuals. The reason why you have a job is because there's common myths and there's obviously things that are out there that are making people stick to the ways that they are and also living the lives that they are living, right? Where I come from, we have a statement that says fish do not see the water that they swim in, and neither can people see the air that they breathe. So just because Sally from next door also has something, it must be something in the air. What are some of the common myths about health and dieting that you frequently encounter that people have actually claimed to be gospel?
Hmm. That all you have to do is just work out more than you eat and you'll be fine. Like, I think that's probably one of the biggest ones. I mean, the States is, gosh, I mean, we are 60 or 74% overweight now. I mean, there's 30% of our kids that have diabetes that are obese. I mean, our health is so poor. And if it was only about eating, eating less and working out more, we would all be skinny. We would all be healthy. but we have some of the worst health in the world. And so much of that is directly attributed to what we put in our mouth. It's not just the quantity, but it's the quality of what we eat. The CDC came out years ago and said that 74% of all disease, or not CDC, JAMA, sorry, and they said that 74% of all disease is linked to nutritional deficiencies. So much of the food we eat today is dead. Like if it can sit on the store shelf, I should actually pull it out. I have a McDonald's hamburger, a quarter of a McDonald's hamburger and French fries from 2005. I showed
No.
it to somebody
Right.
last week and they said, and I asked them how old they thought it was. And they're like, I don't know, maybe a week, maybe a month. No, 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 19 years. And it looks that close to what it does when you get it because it's just dead food.
Right. So when you say dead food, could you maybe go into that a little bit?
Well, if you think about it, we are energetic beings, right? And so we need to be fed foods that has energy in it. So in our house, we talk a lot about alive foods versus dead foods because it gives us a visual. If something is already dead, if something doesn't go bad, it's already dead. If you think about you have vegetables or meat or fruit or things like that in your house and even in your fridge, they eventually go bad, they die. But if all we're eating is foods that are already overly processed, they're what I call food-like substances that our body's like, oh yeah, our brain goes, oh yeah, that's cheese. Like what I grew up on, Cheese Whiz and Velveeta. Velveeta doesn't even say cheese on the outside of it anymore because it can't, because legality, right? So it's like the foods that we eat today are just not nourishing. Yes, there's calories in there. Yes, there's macros, but how many actual vitamins and minerals are there that are natural in the foods? If you're eating bread, breads are fortified with usually 7 or 8 vitamins and minerals, but there's no nutrition left in the bread, like um, no nourishment when it comes to like the vitality that our bodies thrive on. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Right. So what I'm understanding here, Jen, is I'm obviously, I mean, coming from a very different, diet from Africa, right? And by alive, my understanding is if you can't recognize the primary ingredient in the particular food, then that no longer is food. Okay. So if it's supposed to be meat, but you can't see, let's just say an example, you can't see the bone in it, and it's supposed to be meat, then obviously something has happened by way of processing, removing it from its natural state, which means killing it further. Is that my understanding of where we are at with this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So when you think about the more processed something is, the more nutrition has been removed from it. So you can have an orange
Mhm.
that's a whole food, right? That's alive. That's real food. And then you squeeze it. That's
Right.
one step of processing. Now you've removed the fiber. So now we're taking some of the nutrition away. Then you take something like some of the store-bought um, products, store-bought orange juice would have maybe some color enhancers to it. Maybe they would add additional flavor agents, additional sweeteners. Maybe they're straining it and reducing the pulp. I mean, the stuff I grew up on was the can of sludge that you buy in the freezer section, and then you add water to it, and it miraculously turns into orange juice. Um, the more that we remove stuff from its original form, the more times it's processed, the more nutrition we remove as it's processed.
I also grew up in an area where we needed to see different varieties of food so that your brain registered that I've had protein, I've had carbohydrates, I've had vitamins in terms of vegetables. And if the food is all processed and your brain doesn't see what it has consumed, it will go out seeking for those particular nourishments. Is that my understanding of where you're saying with this?
Yeah, I think that's very true. I don't know, I haven't personally heard that before, But it makes perfect sense. But we are not fulfilled by what we're eating, right?
Mm.
We fill our bellies.
Right.
We fill our bellies a lot. And to your point earlier about the coffee, like that is not nourishment. Yes, it will jack you up. Yes, it will light your brain up. Yes, it will make you feel amazing for a while. And then we crash. One of the most important things that I work with my clients on is really finding what their body specifically needs. How does your body thrive? Because everyone has different health situations where their health is at right now. They may have high cholesterol, they may have high blood pressure, they may have high insulin, they may be in ideal health. They may have goals of bodybuilding. They may want more endurance for running a 5K or a marathon. So we all have different goals, we all have different physical design, and we also have our physical health scenario of where we're at. So if we're following some blanket, weight loss program or blanket diet, I mean, there's 100 different dietary theories that are out there. And if we're following the exact same one, if you and I were following the same plan, chances are it won't work ideally for one of us because we're all a little bit different. You have somebody that is male compared to female. Our ages are different, our sizes are different. So we're going to have different nutrition requirements. The one thing I will say is pretty much true for everyone is that we want whole foods. We want foods that are alive. We want foods that have nourishment in them. Outside of that, it's really about fine tuning what your body really thrives on.
Mm. But we went to school, Jen. They taught us the food pyramid. It had all the things in it. And if you just look at a can, it's got all those things that are named within the five components of the food pyramid. And if you can just have a meal and a drink, then, it's convenient. Why would I have to then go through all the trouble of maybe having to, from what I'm understanding, if you are gonna have to eat alive food, I'm gonna have to go hunting then, Jen.
Well, ideally, I would say yes. Like in the ideal scenario, Prosper, we would go back to hunting and gathering days. However, the likelihood of that happening is probably about a 0.5% for anyone in the States or Australia. I'm just going to guess, right? And that is our ideal. But even in the States, I mean, looking at the way that we have genetically modified our crops, we're one step away from what God put on the earth, and this is what grows. We're like, oh, we can do better. We'll just jack it up. It's fine. We'll grow more. I mean, if you look at the way that we have changed our wheat crops, we have genetically modified our foods so that we yield much more in the same space. And we're not rotating our crops anymore. So we're not changing up the soil and adding more nutrients back to it. We're dumping fertilizer on it. We're using herbicides and pesticides to kill off the bugs and the weeds. We have done so much to our food supply. So in a perfect world, we would eat pasture-raised animals. We would eat organic fruits and vegetables. We would eat, fats that come from trees like avocado and olives and coconut and things like that. And we wouldn't buy things that are pre-packaged that can sit on our shelf and survive for 7 years, right? In a perfect world. In a decent world, we wouldn't buy stuff that sits on a package for 7 years. In a good world, so in my mind, it's good, better, and best, right? So we've got, again, it's about the individual. So you may know someone who does not have a sustainable income. Their choices are going to be limited in comparison to someone who has a lot of discretionary income or has, above poverty level, right? So everyone's scenario is different. Does that mean that the person below poverty has to eat all of the processed foods? No. And a lot of times the processed foods are more expensive times two. One, when we first buy it, and then two, what it does to our health in the end. It
Mm.
takes a little bit of effort to seek out things that are healthier versions of. It takes choice to look at how do we nourish my body versus just fill my belly. it's ultimately eating in a way that is in alignment with how we want to feel. Do we
Right.
want to feel good long term, body, mind, and soul? Or do we want to feel good for the next 5 minutes or the next half hour? There's
Mm.
lots of different types of foods and food like substances, but ultimately it's just a choice of what we want to create.
But I don't know if you've been to my local shop. All the chips bags have got really nice, tantalizing colors, tantalizing flavors that have been, developed from a laboratory of well seasoned tasters of Doritos or some sort of version of chips. And I can't resist that. And that's what's in front of
Yeah.
everybody else. And it's convenient and it satisfies whatever satisfaction that they have. But people need to know better for them to do better, right? Can you
Exactly.
maybe describe the fundamental principles that you teach people in Complete Health Revolution and how that actually makes a difference? Because if what I see around me is what everybody else has in their shopping basket, who am I to go out and start leaking leaves trying to see if they could be good for breakfast?
I don't suggest you go out licking leaves. Like there are so poisonous plants that are out there, so please don't do that. Get some gardening guidance if you need that, right? And I hear you, right? And this is coming from somebody who, like, literally, I would drink a half a pot of coffee and have a donut for breakfast. For lunch, it was fast food. For dinner, it was lean cuisines, spaghetti, or I'd go out and have drinks and appetizers with the girls because I swore off cooking at 19, and I had no nutritional knowledge when I was living like that. So I am 100% here to say, like, you can go from wherever you are right now and create a complete and total change. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It has to happen one step at a time. Like my first step was to drink more water. And when I started drinking more water and I started drinking 2 cups of water before I had a cup of coffee, I had better energy throughout the day. And half the time I didn't need the coffee because I felt better because I was hydrated. And then it was a matter of like, okay, so I'm going to buy a whole grain cereal versus Lucky Charms or Frosted Flakes because I was getting a whole grain. I was getting the next step better. And then it was, understanding that I don't need all of the excess. I need one step at a time. So you know how the burger is usually smaller than the bun? I would just cut off any of the bun that didn't actually have any burger on it. It was excess. I didn't need it. I wanted the burger, so I ate the burger. Then it got to a place where I would take off like half the bun and then I skipped the bun. I still like French fries, so I will take 2 or 3 French fries from my daughters, and we'll order a side and split it, and I'll have a salad and a side of broccoli with it. So it's not always about cutting out. A lot of times it's about adding in. If people just added in a couple of vegetables a day, or they ate 1 or 2 live foods a day, man, it would be amazing for how much impact that can have on their health if they started in a place like I did. I will tell you the number one thing that I have my clients do, hands down, the number one thing is to drink water. Because if you're hydrated, your energy is up, your digestion works, your elimination works. You can actually have a bowel movement. Your joints feel better, your brain is clearer, you're able to detoxify your body, right? If you're dehydrated, your body literally will store extra weight trying to regulate your body temperature. Water is the most important thing someone can do above anything else, in my experience and in my belief, because it has such an incredible impact on every system in our body.
Well, I was just listening to instructions because you have said water 3 times, and I started questioning when the last time was when I actually had a swing of water, and I absolutely love that because obviously water washes everything else that we put in our body, and it helps the movement of nutrients in the form of blood and things of that nature. But you also did mention that no one diet sort of is a can fit everybody else. It's not a one and done for different people. You did allude to, other people that are masculine, female, different muscle needs or requirements for their diets and things of that nature. And I've always been taught that no two fingers on the same hand are of the same height. So that's not going to be, like that. But it seems to have worked on you, and obviously you did manage to help mom have 5 years of quality life and things of that nature. But does this work on other humans, like the actual people that have kids and are busy at work and have to do stuff between meals and things of that nature?
Yes, 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 yes. And in the beginning, it can feel overwhelming, right? That's a lot of times when my clients come to me, they're like, I have tried everything under the sun. I've tried all the programs, all the plans, but I can't figure out what one works for me or how to work it into my life. So, one of the most important things is not to overhaul everything in your life in one day to try and improve your health. It is about baby steps, and it is about adding in to crowd out. So, my 8-year-old craves Caesar salads. She loves broccoli. She eats the tops off of asparagus, right? I mean, so and let me tell you, it is an intention. It is a commitment to your health. I truly believe if you don't make time for wellness and you're not committed to taking care of you, you'll end up paying the price down the road, whether it is in your healthcare expenses, your inability. A lot of times it's thinking about what happens if something happens to you. If you're gone, if you're physically gone, what happens to the hole that you left behind in the people who care about you? Or what happens if you don't completely leave the earth, but you're incapacitated? And you're in a situation like my mom, where you're in your 40s and 50s and you're in a nursing home, or you can't afford a nursing home, and so one of your kids is taking care of you and wiping your tushy and like doing those things. So it so much is about why we're committed to doing it. I love Simon Sinek's book, Start with Why, because if we don't understand why we're committed to it, we don't follow through on it. You're right. It's way easier to run through the drive-through or to grab a bag of chips or to eat anything that the food manufacturers put out there because they make a profit and we get convenience. But we ultimately pay the price for it one way or another. So for me, it very much is about adding in. And so when I work with clients, we look at what works for them. We look at what works for their body. And I really teach people how to listen to their body because, like I said, there's 100 different dietary theories that are out there. If you're jumping from one to the next to the next to the next, but you're never slowing down enough to really listen to your body and understand your body's needs, we're just playing whack-a-mole. Like we're just trying to figure out what the next thing is. We're just trying to figure out what the next person is going to tell us to do that might work. So we're sitting in the driver's seat going, you tell me what to do. You make it, you tell me what to do. And so it becomes, we can play the blame game, which is really easy. Like we've got this big bad pharma, we've got big bad agriculture, we've got big bad food industry, but none of them are putting stuff in our mouth. That's our choice.
Yeah, but Jen, let me just cancel my Uber Eats here while we're here. But they're putting it in my phone, and it's mine, and it's in my possession, and I can't scroll past a sumptuous meal of a burger that is steaming hot and everything else that comes along with it. And you don't know the day I've been through. The emotions are up high, and my boss has been stressing me, and obviously mortgage is due, and and so there's a lot of emotional eating, there's a lot of stress going on in a lot of people right now. What sort of strategies do you help individuals, especially when they then resort to chocolate or some sort of pick me up, so that they just get past whatever they're going through in life?
Yeah, and great point. And you are 100% on point. I mean, there is so much emotional eating. I have a group program called Transform. And I literally just got off a call with them. And this was the conversation about what do I do when I'm stressed? What do I do when I'm at Starbucks? What do I do when I just end up wanting something? How do I manage that? And there's an acronym that I use with my clients. And the acronym is PAUSE. Okay. And the P is to actually pause. Like just slow down, take a breath, take 5 deep breaths. You literally go from fight or flight into rest and restore when you slow down and you get really grounded and present in your body and you take some deep breaths. That allows you to be intentional versus reactionary. Then we've got to assess like what's actually going on. What do I want? Why do I want it? A lot of times when we're emotionally eating, Prosper, we're looking for the food to fix something. And food isn't going to fix something. It's actually, if we emotionally eat, we don't have just one problem that we're trying to pacify. We have two, because we have the initial, and now we're going to have a health issue or a weight issue from the food we just ate. So we've got to look at what we're doing and why we're doing it. We got to slow down. And I know it's hard, but if we want to create change, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. So we've got to pause. We've got to assess what's going on. What do I want the food to fix? What am I craving? Then the U is for understanding. Understand what you're feeling. And this is, so I use pause squared. So pause is a process. Pause is also a way to check in with what we're experiencing in that moment. Do I have a physical hunger? Has it been 2 to 3 hours since I've eaten? Do I have cravings? Is my blood sugar a little bit low? We can look back at what we ate. Like, is there a reason why I'm physically hungry? Is my stomach rumbling? Do I need to eat something? The A is for agitated, which is kind of like just that angry, irritable, like there's energy. So that's A. The U is for unfulfilled. This is where you are just wandering into the pantry or the fridge and you're like, I just need something. What sounds good? Maybe I'll just go get a coffee. Maybe I'll just go get a something. And we're in that pondering kind of thing, what's going to satisfy me? But we're just looking to fill the void, whether that's boredom or loneliness or sadness, or we just want a distraction, right? That unfulfilled. The S is for stressed. I have 1,000 things on my mind. And I just need to get to a place where I can just feel a little better. So sometimes we'll crave crunchy stuff because it breaks up the tension. Sometimes we'll crave salty stuff because it supports our adrenals. And sometimes it doesn't matter. We just shove whatever we find in our mouth because we're just trying to change our state of being. And then the E is exhausted. And exhausted mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. It doesn't matter where the exhaustion is rooted. Our body goes, I need a boost. I need some, and we'll typically grab sugar or processed carbs because we're just looking for a boost of energy to power up and power through and get through the day. So if we can pause and understand what we're experiencing, what we're trying to fix, what are we feeling right now? So that's the U in pause the process. The S is for seek. What else might satisfy me? What might satisfy the void or what I'm looking for? So maybe it's calling a friend, getting a hug, taking a walk outside, drinking a big glass of water, like taking a rest for 5 minutes, stepping back and stepping away from whatever the stressor is that we're faced with. It's finding something else that's going to satisfy and actually fulfill us versus just filling us, trying to fill the void. And then the E is for enjoy it. Like if you choose to indulge, choose it. Choose it and savor it. Really sit in it and enjoy it. There is research that shows that we have 3 bites. If we savor 3 bites of something, it fully saturates our taste buds. After that, it's just more of the same. We don't get any new enjoyment out of it. But we have to actually slow down enough to enjoy our food. Most people that eat comfort food don't get any enjoyment from it or any satisfaction from it because they inhale it versus savoring it. So really, if you're going to indulge, if you're going to eat something, then enjoy it.
Right. Now, Jen, that explains all the half-eaten apples I come across in my household. The kids just buy three times and then that's it, you know? I mean, the kids know better, but I really appreciate you taking us through all of that because half of the time, food is just filling in a void, and the only way we can explain what we're looking for is maybe just stuffing our faces with something that is going to ease that pain so we can go away from it. Instead, what you're saying is sit with it, let it speak to you and say, hey, this might not be, I'm hungry. This might be, I need something that I can actually make use of, that will make my life a happier existence. Now, I know a lot of people are listening, and thank you so much for those that are listening up until now, because that's a really big attention span, which means you haven't probably stopped to go and grab a snack or whatever it is. How can the people that are listening right now be rewarded, especially by working with you? What will be the first thing that they need to do, in order to learn more from what you are sharing with them? Because I know we've taken people on a journey, and obviously they now want to know how they can maybe get the help that they're looking for.
Yeah. So on my website at completehealthrevolution.com, there's 5 health hacks for busy people. You and I both talked about how life is busy and we just want something that's quick and easy. And how do we create health in quick and easy steps? So there's 5 health hacks for busy people. You can download that guide and it literally walks you through 5 of the most important steps that you can take to get your health started while you're busy and managing everything else in your life. Most people I work with are high achievers. They're driven, they're ambitious, they have big goals, big careers, they have families, and they're trying to figure out how to balance it all and take care of their health at the same time. So that's why I designed that 5 health hacks for busy people. So that I would say that that's the first step. And for those of the people on your call, Prosper, I have a couple of slots that I've opened up each week that are they're barrier breakthrough sessions. When we're looking at, we'll say weight loss specifically, a lot of people go, I just need to exercise more and eat less without understanding that there are 12 physical reasons why we carry extra weight, and there are 8 emotional reasons why we carry extra weight. And so if all we're doing is cutting our calories and working out more, we're not addressing the root cause. And so the barrier breakthrough session is really designed to go, where are you at right now? And where do you want to get to? And one of my super skills is to be able to identify what are the barriers, what are the roadblocks that are preventing you from creating the lasting success that you need and want. And so a barrier breakthrough session, I'd like to gift a couple of them to your audience and give the people that are really motivated and really like they're ready for change and they just need the direction. They just need to know, what do I need to move so I can be able to create the results I'm looking for. That's what a barrier breakthrough session is for. And they can go to talkwithjenbeck.com and schedule right on my calendar. And that way we can be able to help you break through that barrier so you can create the lasting success and health that you deserve.
Absolutely. I will definitely put all those links in the show notes below so that people can actually get started. And I quite like the 5 health hacks for busy people that you've got on your website, because you're maximizing, people's health in the minimum amount of time. The reason why we end up in this whole situation is for convenience. But what if you're doing the right things that are actually saving you money, time, and effort? And also, you did mention that there's the idiot tax a little bit later on, where you now have to fix your health from the things that you did, ages ago. So it just really, helps out there. But while we were talking, Jen, you were describing how your daughter eats asparagus, broccoli, and all the other vegetables I can't even, mention because I haven't been exposed to that much nutrition in the longest of time. Um, I'm just asking for a friend here. If you've got kids that don't want to eat their veggies and you keep telling them, hey, eat your veggies, because there's hungry kids in Africa and they talk back to you and say, hey, but you're from Africa. How do you how do you handle that?
It's a great question. I haven't actually come across that one yet. When it comes to to living in Africa and having African kids, I think when I was growing up, it was China. But and it's a battle, right? It really is a choice that we get to choose what we put in front of our kids. Now, I will tell you, when my daughter was born, I made a commitment she was going to eat healthy by my example, and I was cooking. Well, about 5 years ago, I went through a divorce. Her dad doesn't cook the way that I cook. Her dad likes to where you drive around the building and you roll down your window and the bag comes into the car. That's what he likes to provide on a consistent basis. So my daughter's palate changed significantly as a result of that. So there, instead of having a battle in our house, we have a rule. This is dinner, and there's always at least one, usually two vegetables on her plate. She can do whatever she wants to it. She can put cheese on it. She can put ranch on it. She started eating broccoli with ketchup.
Hmm.
Now she doesn't do ketchup and broccoli anymore. That lasted about 3 years though. But do you know
Okay.
what she eats now? Broccoli. Just broccoli. Whatever way I prepare it, she eats the broccoli. Because we have to expose our kids 7 to 15, we as humans have to see the same food 7 to 15 times before we accept it as a food that we eat. This goes back to caveman days when we didn't know if this berry bush was poison, if it was going to be bitter, if it was going to be like, we didn't know. So we'd walk past it multiple times, we'd taste it, okay, lick it, to your point, licking leaves, right? We lick it. Okay, we didn't die from that. Maybe we'll take a little bite. And so we're exposed to foods repetitively before we accept it as something that we eat. So with my daughter, I don't care what she does to her vegetables. She will eventually grow out of the condiments, but she still eats the vegetables.
Hmm.
So the goal is not to create the battle. The goal is to create the introduction. So if you want to start cooking vegetables and your kids have never seen one before, put one or two pieces on their plate, serve it to them. Don't say anything, but get ready to repeat it, to serve it repeatedly so they get used to what it is. You get to eat it and you get to eat it without going, "Oh God, I can't believe I had to eat this stuff." That's probably not going to inspire them to eat it. But if you eat it, they're going to see you eating it. They're going to see you don't die, and they will eventually accept it as food that they eat too. It's just about the repetition of trying new things and being curious. Curiosity will transform not just your food, but your whole entire being if you allow it to. And be like, I wonder if there's a way that I might like fish. I wonder if there's one way that I can tolerate broccoli. Well, my daughter found it with ketchup, right? So there's lots of things that we can do, but it's really being open and curious in the first place and seeking out possibilities and alternatives.
No, Jen, I can't thank you enough for the time that we've been on the call today. From what I've heard and experienced from you, I mean, obviously your journey, your life story, and everything along the way is literally up there to help others be, do, and have a happier existence. And, so many people, they might be exposed to this information, but they might not be taking the actual action that actually needs to be done. I mean, after all is said and done, we've been told do your diets, do the exercise more, eat less, the whole water thing or whatever is on the shelf that particular moment, or whoever's selling books, and now whoever is on TikTok with whatever diet that they have. Is there any just one thing that you could just tell somebody that they can take away all the overwhelm and just take that one step for themselves that will completely revolutionize and change the world, which will make this video or this podcast really have been the starting point that you had when you got that call?
Yeah, I would say that there's two baby steps. One is to drink your water. Always, 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 I will start there. And the second one is just to experiment with foods that are more natural, foods that are more nourishing, and just be curious about how many foods you could eat that would be nourishing. How could you make it work? How could it be possible for you to take your health to the next level? and just start taking baby steps. But focus on nourishment and focus on how you want to feel, not just what goes in your mouth.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, because you can't do well if you don't feel well, and being healthy is just at the backbone of everything else. So if you're having issues with the life that you're living right now, hey, it could be what's on your fork right now. So it's so many things that you've pointed out, and I'm really hoping that whoever's watching this, first of all, thank you so much for having paid attention up until right now. Not only did we create something remarkable, but I want this to be the starting point or the launch pad of you having a healthier existence. And Jen, thank you so much for your profound insights and inspiring us with your journey today.
Thanks for having me, Prosper. I love your show, and it's just an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Now, for those that are watching, you heard Jen, she does love this show. And if this episode resonated with you, consider rewatching this because I know there's a lot of nuggets that were obviously, I'm not talking chicken nuggets here. I'm talking real nuggets of gold that will actually help you be, do, and have a happier existence. And if you got everything that you wanted from this particular show, I encourage you to share this with somebody who could benefit from Jen's expertise. I mean, this could be the gift that you will be able to give to that particular person. Case in point, Jen went and learned from the pharmacist and gave that gift to her mom when she came back, which resulted in 5 years of a quality life that she wouldn't have had that not happened. So you could be the Jen to your loved one today. And while you're at it, yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the show for more transformative content. And I want you to remember this, that your journey to a sustainable wellness starts with you making a decision. So, if anything, just visit Complete Health Revolution and take that first step. And as Jen has said, she has a download that you can grab, which is the 5 health hacks for busy people. Until next time, stay healthy and stay positive. Bye for now.